Hi there, this is Mike from ATB Guitars in Cheltenham, and here's my pick of the 5 best guitars I think are in the store this week. I hope you enjoy them. Okay, first off we have this lovely 1952, and it's a very early 1952 Gibson Les Paul model gold top. It is probably one of the first ones made, and it has some very noticeable features which were on just the very first ones. The most prominent being it's got an unbound fingerboard, which hopefully you can see. It's also got 2 screws diagonally placed on the back pickup. It's got a nice chunky neck. It's original finish, in very, very good condition. It's a good weight. It's not heavy by any means. It's a nice weight for one of these. The other distinguishing feature, which you'll see in the website pictures, is the distinctive routing in the cavity, which is nothing like what they eventually settled on later in '52, and they still use to this very day. This is more like a rectangular route. If you check on the website pictures, you'll see exactly what I mean. It has original Clusen no-line tuners with original tips. It's got original frets on, which are in really nice condition, and even though it's got this wrap under bridge, it plays really, really well as well, which is a good bonus. And it's a pretty rare guitar. In fact, this is only the second one we've had here in the last 10 years. So a cool piece and pretty rare. Right, next up is this incredible guitar. This is one of my favourites in the store, but unlike most of them, it's not actually quite for sale yet. This is a Gibson ES335 in extremely rare factory white finish. This one dates from 1974, which is obviously the Norlin period, and was custom ordered by a gentleman in the west coast of the US, and we bought this via a dealer from his widow. His widow told us that he custom ordered it from the factory in white, and he hardly used it. He basically left it in its case, and it is in absolutely stunning, pretty much unplayed condition. In fact, even the case it comes with is in pretty much mint condition as well. As you can see, it's the finish is amazing, and you just don't see them in this finish at all. It's 100% original. There's no modifications to it. The chrome looks almost new. The tailpiece has no pitting. The knobs have no bits of grime inside the witch hat knobs, which you normally find, and the headstock is perfectly formed, no sort of dog-earedness about it at all, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Couple of things of note, which is peculiar to these factory white ES335s. They've painted over the binding on the neck, which is what they do for factory white, and some of the scraping when they paint these the bodies in white, they basically paint all over the binding, and then someone at the factory scrapes along the binding to reveal the whiteness of the binding. But the scraping on this isn't quite as precise as you'd normally see, and the reason for that is when you have a white guitar and white binding, it's very difficult to precisely scrape away the paint, because they look totally identical. So it's a difficult task for most people. So another indication of it being a factory white is that reason. The scraping isn't exactly perfect. Other things are the nitro finish has hardly faded on the actual body, but it's faded on the binding, which is pretty standard. We've come across a lot of mint guitars which the finish is pretty perfect, but the binding has still yellowed, and this again is the case with this one. It's not for sale at the moment. It will be at some point, but right now we're just enjoying it here in the showroom, and we're taking it along to guitar shows which we exhibit at, and it's a good conversation piece and a good talking point. So we're going to hang on to it for the time being, but keep following our social media and our website, and one day you'll see it up there for sale, I'm sure. Okay, next up, again this is in no particular order, we have this absolutely gorgeous 1965 Fender Jaguar in factory blonde finish with a ash body. Very rare to see, blonde finish offsets actually, and this one is in gorgeous condition. It's a 1965, so it has a lot of transitional features on it. It's a late L series, so technically it's most people would regard it still as pre-CBS. The finish is in excellent condition. It's yellowed slightly, but not drastically. It does not have a painted headstock, which was always the case with factory blonde Fender guitars. It has a dot neck, an unbound fingerboard. The dots are pearl, very early pearl neck, and everything is original on this. All original solder, original electrics, original pickguard, hardware, and as you can see, it's really nice condition. Hardly anywhere on the neck, and it comes with a nice original case as well. This one we sold a couple of years ago to a customer pretty quickly. He's put it back with us on consignment, and we're looking forward to finding a new home for it fairly soon. Right then, next one is something quite interesting, which I'm sure you'll find very intriguing. We took this in on part exchange recently. It's a refinish 1964 Fender Stratocaster. It's been refinished body and neck. When we had a really good look at it recently, we discovered that the body is actually made from mahogany, which Fender did back in early '64, very late '63. Fender were experimenting with a wide variety of materials on their guitars, and they did manufacture some guitars with mahogany bodies, and they manufactured some with Carina bodies as well, of which we have an example here. In fact, it's right next to me, this one. But this particular one has a similar serial number range. In fact, it's an early L series. It does date to early '64, just like the Carina Strat we have, and also the mahogany body Duosonic, again early '64. It was a bit of a surprise to find this. Nobody expected it, but we've had a good look, and it is definitely mahogany. Anyway, it's a great sounding Strat. It does sound different, but most people would say it's a really nice, powerful sound from this. It's not heavy at all. It's not light. It's about average weight for a Strat. It's around 3.5 kilos, something like that. It's had some changes along the years. We've had to redo some of the wiring, which was some cheap PVC. So that's now cloth wiring, and it's had some part changes, but the basics of it is all there. It's original finish on the front of the headstock. The neck has been oversprayed, the body has been refinished actually really quite well in Fiesta Red. But yeah, this is one of the rare mahogany bodied Strats, and we've not priced it much more than what we'd price a normal refin for, so you need to check this out on the website, because I think it'll go pretty quickly. Right then, next up is something again quite interesting. This is a Selma guitar. It was made in 2010, would you believe, and it is number 586. Now, there's a story to this one. If you're not aware, Selma made these guitars back in the 20s through to the 40s, and they were made famous by the likes of Django Reinhardt, and they have a very, very strong following. The originals are highly sought after. We've sold 2 or 3 of them, and they fetch big money. In 2010, Selma realised that there was a hole in their serial number range of guitars of serial numbers which didn't have these guitars. So they commissioned the esteemed French builder Jean Barrault to produce 10 guitars which bore the serial numbers which did not originally have the Selma guitars against them. So this is number 586. And Jean Barrault has built this under license from Selma. He has aged it as well, and anyone who's seen an original one of these will be absolutely gobsmacked by the attention to detail which has gone into this. As I said, we've had 2 or 3 of these originals, and this is absolutely identical to an original. The way it is aged as well is it's been done to perfection. And I defy anyone at first glance to not think this is an original 1930s and 1940s Selma. It really is that good. Obviously, the construction technique is identical. It has the walnut neck, which has got the interesting neck joint to it. It's got the rosewood body and a spruce top, like the originals had. The metalwork looks absolutely identical, and the attention to detail also extends to the label inside, which we'll put a close-up on. And the label is just like an original Selma label is. I mean, it's absolutely uncanny. The tuners as well, they're just like the original should be. So for less than a third of the price of an original, you do actually get a Selma guitar, but made in 2010. No issues, no structural issues, unlike a lot of the originals have. Really nice playing guitar. Right, last up we have the bargain of the week, what I consider to be a bargain of the week. This is a 1979 Fender Stratocaster. It's got the original finish. It's had a few mods which helped to make it very reasonably priced. It's had a refret, it's had changed tuners. Some of the wiring has been replaced. The pickups are grey bottom pickups of various years, roughly correct, but they all sound pretty good. And hardware looks okay. It's got a 5-way switch, which is probably right for that year. And it's in pretty cool condition, really. It's obviously been played. It's got a good vibe about it. It plays pretty well, even though it's one of the 3-belt necks. And it's got a nice tight neck body join, which is not always the case with these late 70s 3-belt Fender Strats. So this is a good one from this period, and it's priced at only £1,495, £1,495. So I think that represents a pretty good deal. Right, well, thank you very much for watching this. Please like if you like it, and subscribe if you would like to be alerted of more. Follow us on our social media channels, on our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at ATB Guitars, and on our YouTube channel, which is probably what you're watching it on right now. Thanks very much, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.